Hey everyone, hope everyone's enjoying a long weekend. I thought I'd do a bit of a Tenere video today. I know I'm going to cop some shit from one of my mates. He's a die-hard Honda fan. You know who you are. Anyway, let's get into it. So I've had this bike now for probably a couple of months maybe. I've done about 1,000 Ks. I just thought I'd share some of my insight on them for anyone that might be looking to buy one, etc. I think they're brilliant. Off-road handling is amazing. You always sort of forget what you're on. They handle that well. Definitely, if you wanted to, you could probably work the suspension. I'm still playing with mine, trying to work out what settings best suit off-road and on-road. I've got the clickers as hard as I can for the forks, both compression and rebound. I've just sort of played with the rear a little bit, the preload there. It feels pretty good. I haven't adjusted the clickers on it. I pretty much straight away changed tyres. These were I just had them in my shed. They're a Metzeler 6 days extreme that come on most of your registerable enduro bikes that are FIM and DOT approved. I pulled them off my beater. They're a terrible handling tyre on such a light enduro bike, but I find on this thing with the weight, the intermediate Metzelers here handle pretty well. The rears are 140. I know you're not meant to run them because obviously you've got a wider rim. It's meant to be a 150, but I just had them laying around. I thought I'd give it a crack. So far so good. It was really easy to seat. Didn't need much pressure at all. I touch wood, haven't run into any dramas. I've got the Barrett slip-on, mainly just because it was half the price of everything else. They're about $500 for the slip-on versus $1,200 from most of the other manufacturers, and still sounds pretty good. Still waiting for crash bars. They're on back order. I'll show you guys that once they arrive and I get them on. Also waiting for radiator guard and headlight guard. Just going to get some bar weights for these handlebars. Just threw the Jet Barkbusters on there. They're pretty strong, way better than the standard stuff that just mounts off your mirror. Obviously if you went down, the first point to snap is pretty much on that bracket. I've got anti-Strapz Pannier racks. Haven't got bags yet. They're next on the list. I went for these because, as you can see, they're very narrow. They hug close to the body, so by the time you put a bag on, you're not too wide. He does tapered bags that clears your exhaust, so that's the plans there. A lot of people are running tail tidies. I personally don't see the point until this breaks, and it keeps a lot of shit off your back when you're in a bit of sloppy stuff or rainy conditions. I've moved the front guard up a bit in the bolts here just to give that little bit extra clearance. I'm probably going to look into making a bracket and see if I can lift it just up so it's flush with the top of the fork protectors, just to give that little bit more clearance to stop it from caking up with mud and locking the wheel solid. Bash plate, still got the standard one on it. I look to change that. I think I'm going to go with AXP plastic bash plate. It comes up and covers all your water pump, runs in under, covers your linkage. Should just keep the noise down and be a little bit lighter. One of the best things you can do if you're off-roading a lot with it is pull them rubber inserts out. They're just too slippery when they get wet on your soles. You just can't stay on the pegs per se. So I just pulled them out and they feel pretty good. They're still comfortable on the road. You don't get too much vibration through the pegs. It's a really smooth bike, smooth motor, so you don't cop too much vibration through all the foot pegs. The seat, I find the stock seat pretty comfortable. However, my partner is not real impressed. As you can see, the Pillion one's not real flash. I look to change that shortly. Just waiting for a few companies to come out with stuff and see what they're like, and see whether they're going to be thick enough and comfy enough to put on there. As for the weight of an adventure bike, this thing feels pretty good. Yamaha have pretty nailed it with all of their weight distribution. A lot of it is very low on the bike. It doesn't feel very top heavy. It feels very flickable, very nimble. It's very slim between your legs. The standing position is amazing. It just feels like you're riding a big enduro bike when you're standing. Sitting is quite comfortable too. I've done a couple of 100 Ks in one day on it quite easily, really. There are one or two things that is not the best with them. One of them being this dash, however it's mounted. You'll be riding along and all of this just vibrates, so I'll have to look into fixing that. And because I'm like 6 foot, the screen just needs to be about that much higher and it would stop all the buffeting that I'm getting currently. But I'm looking into changing, either making myself a bracket to raise it a little bit, or checking out some screen options to lift it. I don't want to go a big screen like a lot of people do. I personally think they look a bit ugly and a bit overkill. But yeah, I just want to try and lift this up just a little bit, and it should help a fair bit. I just wish Yamaha, come on guys, bit of cruise control wouldn't kill anybody. It's the only thing that I really wish this bike had standard, is cruise control. It'd just make those longer highway journeys so much more comfortable on your right hand. But I guess I'll look into that down the track when someone in the aftermarket world develops something. Otherwise it's pretty good. I can't really fault it otherwise. Obviously I haven't had it for a very long time. Yeah, done about 1,500 Ks on it so far. But yeah, really love the motor. Very nice, very torquey. It's very easy to manage. Yeah, if you're looking at getting one, I highly recommend test riding one. Give it a go, see what you like. Alright everyone, so that's my thoughts, my insight so far with this bike. I highly recommend test riding them. I was tossing between this Tenere 700 and the KTM 790, but the thing that sold me was price. They're way cheaper and a lot less electronics. You don't have all that fancy different ABS settings, all the traction controls, etc, etc. It's just a basic, easy to use bike that you can just jump on, go out and hit the trails whenever you want. So yeah, I'm going to go enjoy a bit more of this awesome day. It's a little bit warm here, but yeah, otherwise quite nice. Everyone have a safe and wonderful long weekend, and I'll see you in the next video.